Journal entries. We've got, like we showed before, we have screen-based entry. GP only handles positive numbers. There is very few places in GP where you enter a negative number. Most of the time you just enter them into the debit column or the credit column accordingly. There is a detail copy paste from Excel, which is nice, as well as the ability to back out existing entries. There is only one currency per journal entry. Each line item, the header is where you control your currency, so that you must balance it in both the foreign currency and the domestic currency, or the originating and the functional, as we call it. There is a reversing entry allowed, and that reversing entry will then post two entries, one in one period, one in the next. Both periods must be open, as we talked about earlier. Because it's batch based, we can put these into a recurring batch, so I can post this same transaction for X number of months if required. This does not affect the subledger. Anything I do here will only affect the general ledger. It has no reference to the subledgers at all. Entries to the subledgers must be done at the subledger level. I can also post to the current year as well as the previously closed year. So I can do a prior period adjustment for audit adjustments at the end of the year. If I want to go back any farther than that, it requires reopening of the fiscal year from the previous year so that we can get back to the one right before it. We can open those up if required, but it does take a fair amount of work to do so, so it's not easily done.
Okay, journal entries within Business Central. So you have the same concept of a general journal, but you can also hit any of your subledgers from a journal. And so to enable this, you have what's called journal templates. And so for an example, we might have a general journal template, we have a sales journal template, a purchase journal template, and each template just offers you, different fields that might be available for that type of entry. So this example you're seeing here is a general journal template. And you can see like the fourth line down where it says customer, that means we're hitting the customer ledger directly. It'll hit the AR account as well as that customer. The last line there will hit the vendor account. So it's hitting the vendor account as well as AP. You have a choice. So you have what's called an amount field, and your amount field would be positive for a debit, negative for a credit, or you can show the debit and credit fields, or you can show both. You can show amount plus debit plus credit columns. Each of these journals, you can use copy and paste from Excel to populate. They can all be customized through personalization. So fields that you don't normally use, you can hide, and you can add another field since it's for your user only. You can use multiple currencies per journal. The exchange rates can default in from your exchange tables, but then they can be overridden on the journal. You can do reversing of posted entries. We can copy posted entries into new entries, and we also have what's called recurring journals. That it's not a recurring batch, but it's a recurring journal that you can run, multiple times. So you can schedule that, and then you can post into any historical year. After you post into a historical year, you just rerun your closing process, and that updates your retained earnings.